Yo, what's up my kings and queens? Welcome back to another video. I'm happy to see you again. For those of you who are new here, I'm YK Maharaj, and today I'm going to be taking you through how to decide which friends to keep. If you don't know me, by the way, I'm here to help people become the best possible version of themselves. I do it because I want to be the person I wish I had growing up. So if you guys have any questions for me or you want to see me create a video about something specific, drop it in the comments. Now, let's start with this video. How to decide which friends to keep. The first thing that I need to tell you when you're deciding which friends to keep is you need to identify who your real friends are. How are you going to do this? Well, let's say for my audience who's still in school, right? If you're still in school, primary school doesn't count. I wouldn't count primary school. Don't worry about that. You don't need to worry about who you're cutting off and keeping. It'll happen naturally along the years. High school, the way I'd suggest figuring out who your real friends are is sit down and think, out of all your friends in school, how many are you still going to talk to when you finish school, right? And that's how I figured out my real friends when I was finishing high school, right? I thought about it to myself, and I think, because sometimes you can look at a lot of people in your school and think, yeah, these guys are my friends, they're my friends. But if y'all are not messaging outside of school and talking regularly outside of school and shit, it's highly unlikely y'all will continue talking after high school as well, right? So when I sat down to look at it, I considered, okay, who am I still going to continue speaking to after school? That's one of the things I'd consider for a real friend, right? The second thing is you need to make sure that you trust this person 100%. I actually forgot to wear my watch today. You need to make sure that you trust this person 100%. What do I mean by that? I mean, this is the person you can tell anything, bro. Even if you kissed a minor, you tell this person. That's how much you trust him. It's that person you can call at any time. If something goes wrong, if something happened, or you need a favor, or you need something done quickly, they are there to help you with this. Maybe you don't have money. Those guys were buying you stuff at the tuck shop that day. Those are people who are real friends. Those are people who genuinely care for you, Like for me, for example, my friend and I, we're so close. When we go out, right, we don't check how much I spend on him and how much he spend on me. We just spend our money on each other, bruh. Like, I mean, of course we're spending on ourselves too, but if he's short on something or whatever, I'm gonna pay for him. And at the end of the day, we're gonna move on and forget about it, right? Because we care about each other. We just want to do shit for each other, right? It's not about the money for us, right? Because we genuinely care about each other. Like, there's times where we went out and I paid gang shit for him and my other friends. I don't ask them for the money back, because if I'm paying for you, I keep in mind, I'm either gonna tell you then that I want you to pay me back, first of all. And if I don't tell you then, I'm not going to ask you, bro, because I want to do it for you, So that's one of the things you need to identify with your real friends. And the last thing I have to say about identifying who your real friends are, you should be able to count them on one hand. Like, if I sit down and think about my real friends, let's say from high school specifically, I can probably only get two or three. Excuse me. Outside of school, I got one that I've known since kindergarten. Aside from outside of school, I don't think so, bro. Look, that's four. So like I said, your real friends, your brothers or sisters, the people who are going to be there for you no matter what, you should be able to count them on one hand, right? Now, what I need you to do is, when you identify your real friends, you need to analyze your real friends. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button and drop a subscribe. So what I was saying is, now when you've identified your real friends, you need to go and analyze your real friends, right? Why do I say you need to analyze your real friends? Well, you need to figure out what type of people your friends are, right? So for example, you need to sit down and analyze their past behavior patterns. Like, have they done someone else wrong before? Okay, if they did do someone else wrong before, like badly, why did they do them wrong? Did they have substantial reason and it made sense? Or they're just that type of person, that doesn't have their friends' backs, right? Why did they do some of the ex-friends wrong? Why did they do that person wrong? Why did they cut off that person, right? Think about it. If someone else used to be friends with someone, so let's say I am boy A, right? No, let's not use A. Let's say, so I'm YK, my friend is TK, and the other friend is BK, right? Let's say TK left BK and stopped or let's say TK spread a rumor about BK, Now they're no more friends because they had a fight about it. But let's say BK did nothing to cause TK to cause that rumor, right? Now I'm friends with TK and I just considered him a real friend. You have to sit down and analyze. If TK could go and spread a rumor about BK, why can't he do it about me? You understand? Because that's what you need to think about. That's why you need to analyze your real friends' past behavior patterns so you can figure out what type of person they really truly are. Because what they tell you isn't the truth, right? The truth only comes out when you're not looking for it, right? People will show you who they truly are, especially when they're angry, right? So you need to go sit down, look at their past behavior patterns to identify any patterns or to see what type of person they are. Because when you're friends with them, oh, it's all good fun and games and it's all lovey-dovey and whatever, right? You don't see any flaws in that person until they want to expose it to you. I've had friends like that before. At the start of the friendship, I considered them good friends. We were vibing and shit. But as the friendship went on, these guys showed me the true colors and showed me who they really were. I cut them off and told them to fuck off, right? Because I know myself. I know what I want in life. I'm not trying to have these people around me. You understand? So you need to go through your past friends' behavior patterns to identify these type of things. The next thing you need to figure out is your real friends. Do they have your best interest at heart, right? So obviously, I mean, of course, everyone puts their own interest first. I understand that, right? But when I say that, I mean, would they take an opportunity that helps them but brings you down at the same time? Because I wouldn't do that to my boys, right? In fact, I don't want shit to happen to my boys, right? I want them to win with me. That's another thing. Do your real friends want you to see you win with them, or they just want them to win first and then you can win? You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, if my boys won before me, I mean, it sucked, but shit, I'm gonna be happy for them. And then that's gonna motivate me to work harder, push, to try and catch up. You understand? So you need to figure out, one, their past behavior patterns, analyze it. You need to also figure out, do they have your best interest at heart? And the last thing, do they also want to see you win? Like I just said, if I win, I want my boys winning with me. If my boys are winning, I want to be winning with my boys, right? And they want to see me win too. They're not going to leave me behind, right? Well, it depends how real they are, but I wouldn't assume that they're going to leave me behind, right? So you need to figure out from your real friends. Once you've analyzed them, analyze their past behavior patterns and figure out, do they have your best interest and do they want to see you win? The next thing I need to talk about, and this is really the most important thing I need to talk about, and I left it for the end because only the real ones who stay get to see this, right? When you meet your friends, let's say it's friends from school, you met them fairly young, right? And I'm talking about secondary, forget primary school, secondary school. When you meet at the beginning of grade 8 or grade 9 or you're 14, 15, you're still fairly young. You don't know much about yourself. I know you may think you do, but the truth is you're going to grow over the next 3 years. From 14 to 18, it's a big difference, right? You're going to grow, you're going to change, you're going to develop new interests, you're going to develop new habits, you're going to find interest in other things that never interested you before. You're going to somewhat change, right? So the thing is, when you first meet your friends, you meet them at the same level, right? You're both 14 or 15. You're both in grade 8. You're both still fresh in secondary school, right? You all meet on this level. This is your growth, by the way. Now, let's say you met early. I started creating content then. Y'all started watching my content creation since then. And you got on self-improvement, right? So let's say you've been on self-improvement since grade 8 or grade 9, even if you started in grade 10. By the time you get to matric, you're going to grow because you're on self-improvement, right? The whole point of self-improvement is to become 1% better each day, right? So you're definitely going to grow and become a new person by the time you're 18, right? So what you need to figure out before you leave school is your friends. When you first met, you started on the same growth level. This is you. You got on self-improvement. So because you got on self-improvement, you got better and better and better and better and better and better day by day, because it compiles over time, right? So now you've grown, you've become a new and maybe not new, but you've become a better person, right? So now this is you. Now your friend's still here because they haven't grown, right? They refuse to grow for themselves. Now there's a gap here. As you can see, there's a gap here. This gap has to be filled one of two ways. It's going to be filled either by you coming back down to their level, which means you lose your progress, or by them catching up to your level, which means they need to grow also to catch up to your level, right? And let me tell you something. That gap will always be closed. It will always be closed, whether you like it or not. So you need to figure out, how do you want to close the gap? Do you want to close the gap by losing your progress or by forcing them to level up to you? Well, I'm sure most people would say forcing them to level up to you, right? Perfect. Now from there, what happens is when you want your friend to do better and grow with you, what happens when they don't want it? Well, you know the saying, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink, right? Same thing applies. One of my friends at the beginning of 2025, I told him, yo, my G, I've known you since kindergarten, right? He's one of my closest friends. But dog, if you don't fix your shit and if you don't try and better yourself, I'm gonna cut you off at the end of the year. And I don't mean to, I don't want to hurt you. I'm just saying I'm gonna do it for my own good, because you're holding me back in life, right? Because like I said, this gap has to be closed either way, either by me losing my progress or by him catching up to me. I told him, my G, please get on self-improvement. Please try and better yourself. Try and work harder. Become a new person this year, right? Because that's what's necessary, right? If you don't, that gap is going to be closed this way, right? So I'm trying to get him to close the gap by catching up to me, right? Let's see by the end of the year. If he doesn't, bro, I'm going to have to cut him off. That's the honest truth, right? As much as I love the nigga, right? He's holding me back because of that, because my growth has to come down or his has to come up. There is no other way. There is no ultimatum. I mean, that's the ultimatum, well. So you got to figure it out. So once you figured out this here, right, your growth levels, now you need to ask yourself, are they holding you back or are they pushing you forward? So that same friend, for example, I'd say in my example, he's holding me back. Why? Because he's doing worse than me, and I'm trying to get him to do better. But honestly, it seems like I want it more than he wants it for himself. And I told him, my G, you're gonna have to want it more than I want it for you in order for shit to happen, you know. So you need to figure out, are they holding you back or are they pushing you forward? An example of a friend who pushes you forward in this scenario would be me. Why? Because I've grown more than that friend. I'm telling him, yo, my G, grow with me, catch up to me, let's hustle, let's grind, let's become the fucking dogs in the world, you know. Like, we are an underdogs right now, right? But let's go and build our empires. Let's go and hustle and grind and fight every day for what we truly want in life, you know. So I'm that friend that's pushing him forward. He's the friend that's holding me back. So now you have to sit down and you have to go and identify, are your friends holding you back or are they pushing you forward? I'm going to tell you one last thing. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, because I really am giving some solid advice here. The last most important thing that I wanted to mention is that, you know how they tell you if you're hanging around 5 clowns, you're going to be the 5th or the 6th. And if you hang around 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. Why is that? I just want you to sit down and analyze that quickly. I'm sure you've heard it from many people before and you hear it from many places, but I just want to go into depth with it for you, because not many people do think about it. Why do they say that you'll be the 6th clown if you hang around 6 clowns? Let's use the millionaires as an example. Why do they say you'd be the 6th millionaire if you hang around millionaires? Let's say, for example, my friends are millionaires, right? I'm doing fairly well for myself, but they are millionaires, right? If I'm surrounded by these guys, one, the fact that they're doing better than me and they're my friends, it's going to make me feel like I need to catch up. So I'm going to try and work harder. That's the first thing. The second thing is, what do millionaires do when they're sitting with each other and chilling? They talk. What are they talking about? They're not gossiping. They're not talking about Travis Scott. They're not talking about what they're doing this Christmas, what they're doing on New Year's. Okay, maybe if they're making plans with that person. But I mean, they don't really give a shit about that. Every conversation the millionaires have, especially if it's not towards the festive season, they're talking about money. They're talking about different things they've learned about money. Maybe something they've learned about the market they operate in. They're talking about money, business, economics, politics. That is why you would be the 6th millionaire, because those are the type of people you are surrounding yourself with. So naturally, those people are going to rub off on you and you're going to become the 6th. I know that you've heard this from many people before, probably your own parents too, and you didn't want to listen. But please just sit down and think about what I just told you. So who you surround yourself with is very, very important. And ever since I've thought about it like that and I've learned these things I've told you in the video, I have cut off so many people. And as harsh and selfish as it is, I got to do it for me. I have dreams to achieve. No one's coming here to put in the work for me. No one's coming here to help me achieve my dreams. So I got to do what's necessary for me to get to where I want to be. You understand? Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys know anyone who's finishing school this year or who's having trouble in paradise with their friends, you know, they have issues with their friends, send them this video, because this is definitely going to help you guys, especially people who are on self-improvement and the path of becoming a millionaire or a creator and stuff, and they want to grow and they have big dreams and goals to accomplish. Send them this video, because it is very important to be able to understand who you need to keep around you. As always, guys, I'm rooting for you and I'm watching from afar. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.